Okay, welcome. We're going to go through exercise 1 of lab 8. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new drawing. We're going to choose only show standard formats, and we're going to turn off the option to display sheet format, and we'll say OK. Now this creates a drawing view. I'm going to turn off and close down model view. The one thing that you'll note is that your screen will be a gray or kind of a beige. To change the background to white, you want to click under Options, and under the tab System Options, we'll go to Colors. We'll scroll down to find Drawings, Paper Color, and you click Edit, and you select white here. I think the default over here is one of these grays. You want to select white, and that'll give you a nice white background. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Drawing tab, select a standard 3 view, and we'll browse to where we have the part that we're opening here, which is the -20 part, and I'll click Open. And now what that does is it drops a front view, a top view, and a right view onto our drawing paper. And you'll see over here that we have drawing view 1, and that's the parent of these two drawing views 2 and 3 as you click on them. So next thing we want to do is we want to change the scale. So we're going to select drawing view 1. We'll scroll down here till we find the scale, and instead of using the sheet scale, we'll use a custom scale, and we will change this to 1:2. And you'll note that when we do this, we can move, if I move the parent, which is this one down here in the lower right hand corner, the other two move in concert with them. Whereas if I can move the right hand view just back and forth, and the top view as being up and down. Now what we want to do is we want to put on a layer. So I'll search for the term layer, open up layer properties, and I'm going to create a new layer called dimensions, and I'll click under where the color wheel is, and I'm going to select the color blue. This is completely up to you, whatever your color wants to be. I just like to use blue for my dimensions, and I'll say OK. Now, a couple other things we want to do is we want to make sure that we're in a correct drafting mode and our options are set. So I'm going to go under Options again, select Document Properties, make sure that the overall drafting standard is ANSI. Some of you may have ISO. You want to make sure that you're switched to ANSI. And we want to turn off the primary precision. So we're going to go click on Dimensions, and instead of having all our dimensions having 2 decimal places, since this is going to be in millimeters, we typically don't list decimals after the millimeters. So we'll select None, and we'll click under Units, and we'll change us to millimeter gram second, and we'll say OK. Now what we're going to do is select here, drawing view 1. Up on the Drawing tab, we're going to select Projected View, and I'll drag up to the right here, and this will give me an isometric view. Now what we want to do is we're going to have this one to be shaded. So the display style right now is using the parent style. I'm over here under the drawing view 4. So I'll deselect use parent view, and we'll go to do shaded with edges. And that gives me a nice shaded view that I want. And note that I can then come over here and take this, and I can put this view anywhere I want. So you can adjust your views around to give yourself room to put in your dimensions. Now that's what we're going to do. We're going to start putting some dimensions in. The first one I'm going to put in is I'm going to select here under the hole call out. And if you note on the part itself, this hole was created using the hole wizard. So when I click on it, it gives me the actual whole call out. And you'll note that we have decimal places here that I don't necessarily want. And it doesn't change it automatically when we did our dimensions. So we need to go back to options under document properties, open up the plus sign next to dimensions, go to the whole call out and select the primary position here to be none. And we'll say OK. And you'll notice that changes. Now what we can do is start putting in the rest of our dimensions. So we'll utilize the sample that you have on the page. So let me go ahead under annotation. I'll click on Smart Dimension and I'll start putting my dimensions in. So let's do this one first. I'll select here, put in 15. I'll select these two lines. So it's just like using your dimension wizard. And we'll select the back line here and the circle and give me my 100 millimeter dimension. And I'll come here and zoom in for this one. We'll put in this dimension, which is, so I hit Control Z to get out of that. Go back to my Smart Dimension and select this line. That gives me 8 degrees. The inner circle here is 20. And we have the dimension here for the rib, which is 10. The total height is 100. We have a radius here of 25. Now sometimes it's kind of tricky putting these radiuses in. They tend to bunch all around, so you can just click and drag it, click and drop it, and then you can kind of move it around to see if you can get what it is that you're actually looking for. It's kind of fighting with me today. There, that's what I'm looking for. So sometimes zooming in helps and you get it. And we have the height here, which is going to be 30. And we want to put this one in, and we want to denote that there's 2 of these. So we're saying it's 15 here and 15 on the other side. So what I'll do is I'll select this dimension, go over under the property manager to where the dimension text is, and we'll put in a 2 and an X in front of it. And that gives me that it's 2 times 15. In the instructions, I state that there's 2 places for it, but I only have it shown once on the diagram. The other place that I meant to put the 2 is here, so I'll put it in, but you'll note that it's not there on the diagram that you have as the thing you're following along for the lab. And let's put in the last couple here. Notice that there is a diameter here. When I select this line, it knows that that is a circular edge, so it gives me a diameter of 50. Same thing here for this one. It knows that it's a diameter of 30, where these are linear dimensions. So this one being 35, and these 2 lines gives me the 40. This dimension here, again, it's a circular edge, so it knows to give it a dimension of 40. The offset here gives me 10. The offset here for the rib is 5. And we have a radius that we need to put in. You see it does jump around a bit, so I'll just click it there, and one more 5 dimension. Okay, so get out of the dimension tool, and that appears to be everything that I want. If you want to, you can adjust the location of your drawings, give yourself some more room on the page, and maybe move this one around. And now what you want to do is you can save this as a drawing, and that is fine. But if you want to put this into a document, I do recommend, and what I want you to do for handing it in for homework, is to go under the Save As. We'll save it as a PNG, which I already have, but I'll show you how to do it. and then click under options. This is important because if you just click under regular PNG, it'll normally be on screen capture, which will give you a very, very low DPI. So you click the print capture, and I think the default is 50, but you can push it all the way up to around 600, and it gives you a really nice picture. So we'll say OK, and it's going to give me that I'm replacing it. I'll say yes. It processes the image, and I'm just going to show you now since I have it here. So if I click on that that picture and open it up, you'll see that I can zoom way in and I get a really sharp picture. Whereas if you had just done a screen grab, that wouldn't be the case. So you can always take this and drop this into any document that you want. Okay, so that is how you go ahead doing your exercise 1.